What's up, Dirt Junkies? I bought 4 budget sun hoodies off Amazon. They all claimed to be UPF 50 plus and they all cost under $20, but I was really skeptical. So I also bought a UV meter to test whether any of them actually live up to their UPF 50 claim, especially given the price. Spoiler alert, only 1 out of the 4 was actually UPF 50 plus. I also decided to test a few of my other hiking and trail running shirts, just as sort of a baseline, like this 8-year-old race shirt I got for free at the Tour de Donut, a bike race where you got time bonuses based on how many donuts you could eat in between laps. Now, I don't want to brag, but I definitely podiumed that bad boy. I've basically been training my entire life for that very moment. Anyway, I was shocked by some of the UV readings, which we'll get to in a minute. That old free race shirt actually blocked more UV than 2 of the so-called UPF 50 hoodies. What? And I didn't just test UV ratings. I also wore each hoodie on trail, on runs, and in the sun to give you feedback on fit, feel, and real-world trail comfort. The 4 hoodies we're comparing are this mint green one from Bookmarks, this light blue one from Isnawood. I really don't know how to say that. Is it Isnawood? Isnawood? Isnawoode? Isnawood. That's what we're calling it. This teal one from Bayleaf and this orange one from Willet. All are fully synthetic, all have thumb holes, all are machine washable, although Amazon weirdly says the Bayleaf one is hand wash only in their description, but the tag on the hoodie clearly says machine wash and tumble dry. There are 2 key differences in the hoodies I need to mention. First, the mint green hoodie is 90% polyester and 10% spandex, which gives me serious expectations in the comfort department because the other 3 are 100% polyester. And second, only one of these hoodies actually indicated having a UPF treatment, and it was the light blue one from Isnawood. When I first planned the video and bought the hoodies, I honestly thought that all sun hoodies had some special sun-blocky type treatment added to them that turned them from a regular hoodie to a sun hoodie. But I was wrong. I learned that most brands, even the big name ones like Patagonia or Outdoor Research, don't add a UV blocking treatment at all. They rely on fabric weave, thickness, and color to block UV. And apparently, that's all you really need if it's done right. Now, let's talk about the fit and feel of each one, and for your viewing pleasure, I'll also show you some sexy modelly turning in each one so you can get an idea of how they may fit. For reference, I ordered a large in all of them, and I'm about 5'11", weighing about 185 to 190 pounds at the time of recording. That fluctuates a lot sometimes. First up is the mint green hoodie from Bookmarks, which is actually the last hoodie I tested. It instantly felt the most comfortable. The 10% spandex blend made a huge difference that I could really feel after wearing 3 100% polyester hoodies. The fabric moved with me more freely and I never felt restricted. The sleeves were long enough that the thumb holes worked without pulling across the back of my hands, even while running or hiking with poles. It has a relaxed fit overall, not baggy, just easy to wear, and I never once noticed bunching or tugging even with a pack on. The hood was wide and lightweight, but didn't stay on my head well while moving unless I had sunglasses on top of it. I actually had this problem with all but one of the hoodies. I did find that it would stay on a little better or longer if I was also wearing a hat, but eventually even then it would come off due to wind unless I clamped it to the sides of my head with my sunglasses. This was definitely less of a problem if I was moving at a hiking pace rather than trail running, but it still happened. Second is the light blue hoodie from Isnawood. Remember, this is the one that has the UPF treatment, and it has a pretty standard fit. It wasn't uncomfortable, but nothing about it really stood out either. The fabric was lighter and felt a little bit more airy than some of the others, but also a little clingier when I got sweaty. It didn't have the stretch of the mint green one, so thumb holes were usable but slightly more restrictive if I extended my arms fully. This hoodie also had the hood coming off unless clamped down by sunglasses problem. Same as the last one. Next up, the teal hoodie from Bayleaf, which is actually a brand I've bought other budget outdoor clothing from. Right out of the package, this one felt tighter. The torso was okay, but the sleeves definitely felt like they were on the short side, especially when I used the thumb holes. It felt like they didn't adjust the sleeve length at all when they added the thumb hole feature. That meant whenever I used them, the fabric pulled and the cuffs felt tight across the back of my hands and all the way up my arm and shoulders. It wasn't unwearable, but it got annoying quickly. Like the previous 2, the hood wouldn't stay on my head unless I anchored it with sunglasses. And lastly, the orange hoodie from Willet. This was the first one I tried on trail. I'll tell you why in a minute. And my first impression honestly wasn't great. It felt a bit snug, especially across the shoulders and arms. The thumb holes in particular made me pause. They weren't as tight as the bay leaf, but not as comfortable as the hoodie with 10% spandex, the first one. When I slipped my thumbs in, the tension across the sleeves made me think it was going to be too tight for a long trail run. But once I got moving, I was surprised how well it worked. The fabric wicked sweat efficiently and didn't stick to me even on a hot and humid day. I stopped noticing the snug fit pretty quickly. The hood felt a little snug as well, but I loved that it stayed on my head without the need of a hat or sunglasses to hold it down. Remember, this is the first one I tried, so I didn't even realize that would be a problem with all three of the other hoodies. The Willet surprised me in a really good way, and it's actually the hoodie I've worn most since testing all four. Now, at this point, you're all thinking, what about the UV testing? So here's a super quick breakdown of UV rays because yes, there are different kinds and only two of them really matter for this. UVA rays are the ones that go deep into your skin and cause long-term damage like aging and skin cancer. UVB rays are the ones that burn you. Both are obviously bad and something we want to block, which is why we're looking for a sun hoodie to begin with. UVC is the third type, but it's basically filtered out by the Earth's atmosphere, so not something you have to worry about unless you're living on the sun or under a welding torch. So when we're talking about UPF, we're talking about UVA and UVB. And just to give all this UPF stuff some context, here's a quick way to think about it. And by the way, UPF stands for ultraviolet protection factor, which I honestly didn't know until I was working on this video. Now you know too. The UPF number tells how much longer you can stay in the sun without burning compared to wearing no protection. You just multiply the number of minutes it usually takes for you to start to burn by the UPF number. So, if you normally start to burn after 30 minutes, wearing a UPF 10 shirt would extend that to about 300 minutes or 5 hours. And a UPF 50 shirt could give you around 1500 minutes or 25 hours. Obviously that's not a perfect science because things like your skin type, altitude, sweat, and how much you're moving all play a role, but it gives you a ballpark sense of how big a difference a legit UPF shirt can make. Now, as I said before, I could not believe some of these readings on these so-called UPF 50 plus sun hoodies. On day one, I tested them all after just one wash. Baseline that day in Virginia was about 4,200 UVA and 20 UVB. You don't need to know exactly what those numbers mean. What is important is that if the shirt is UPF 50 plus, that means it will block at least 98% of the UV rays. The mint green hoodie from Roadbox blocked just 93.5% of the UVA, meaning it was effectively a UPF 15 to 20 hoodie. The light blue hoodie from Isnawood was even worse, blocking just 91% of UVA, meaning it was about UPF 10, not even close to UPF 50. And remember, all of these are advertised as UPF 50 hoodies. Next, the teal hoodie from Bayleaf came super close, blocking 97.43%, effectively UPF 40 to 45, so close to 50, which means so far we are 0 for 3. But have no fear, the orange hoodie from Willet came in strong, blocking 98.67% of the UV rays, making it truly UPF 50 plus, the only one of the entire lot. And get this, my old Torta Donut Ray shirt I got for free almost 10 years ago blocked 95.7% of UVA. That's better than both the Roadbox and the Isnawood. And a 32 degrees shirt I tested also blocked about 98.5%, which basically makes it a real UPF 50 shirt even though it doesn't even advertise itself as one. I was floored that two of these so-called UPF 50 plus hoodies were beat out by an Old Free Race t-shirt and a $5 t-shirt from 32 degrees. Not a good look, Roadbox and Isnawood. A few days after testing them all, I was on a run with my brother, nerding out about UV readings, and he said, "Did you test them in multiple places on each hoodie?" Freaking engineers. No, but I realized I should. So, after 5 washes to simulate some real-world wear and a trail session with each hoodie, I retested them all and took readings from the stomach, back, hood, and sleeves. Rather than rattle off every number, here's a table with the readings by location so you can see how consistent each hoodie was. The Roadbox came in with an average of 95.42%, which, although not 98%, is actually an improvement of 1.5% from the previous reading. The Isnawood also improved a tiny bit, though not as much, up to 92%. The bay leaf still didn't quite make it to 98%, but was so close. And the willet held strong at 98.39%. So again, the willet wins in UV protection. That is why it's the first one I tried and the one I've worn most since I bought all 4 of them. Now, let's rank them all both in comfort and UV protection. Before we do that, I'd be interested to know which one you would pick. So if you're willing to share, put it down in the comments. While you do that, I'll tell you comfort is subjective. People like different fits in clothing, and that's all right. I'll tell you my rankings and why. The clear winner here is the mint green from Roadbox. That 10% spandex is just so comfortable. Next is the orange hoodie from Willet. I appreciated the smaller hood and more tailored cut of this one. Despite my initial impression not being amazing, it's my favorite of the 100% polyester hoodies. And third is the light blue from Isnawood. I just didn't like the fit as much as the orange one. And last is the teal hoodie from Bayleaf. The sleeves just weren't long enough for the thumb holes for me, which was a real bummer. Next, let's rate them by UV performance, which thankfully is completely subjective. Orange takes the cake here and is the only hoodie that proved truly UPF 50+ on my sensor. Teal is a close second. The mint green and light blue really underperformed here, which was such a bummer because the mint green one from Roadbox is so comfortable. But it does still offer some UV protection, and so I actually really enjoy it on shorter runs because it is so comfortable. And this actually has me thinking I should test more sun hoodies with spandex in them to see if I can find one that combines the comfort of the mint green hoodie with the UV protection of the orange hoodie. If you want to see that video, let me know down in the comments. I've dropped links to all 4 hoodies in the description and pinned comment because, hey, my favorite might not be your favorite. Also, I'm working on a video right now to share 3 ways you're destroying your trail clothing at home. When that's uploaded, you can click right here to watch it and make sure you take care of your new sun hoodie or other trail clothes. In the meantime, here's a video about my favorite budget hiking pants from several years ago. They're still my favorite. And remember, life is better with some dirt in it.